My mom was, she was a pretty incredible lady. She was always willing to help people, even when she didn't want to admit that she needed help herself. She would always try to help everybody else. Bowling was probably her biggest passion. Oh my gosh, those stupid bowling leagues. Almost every other night it was, I can't come, I have bowling, I have to pre-bowl, Obviously, she was very good at hiding things. I mean, we didn't even find out until, obviously, what she was doing, probably, a year into her treatment even, I think. For the most part, she was a very good mother. She was a great grandmother. She just got lost.
So I'm Kathy Ryan, and for the last 10 years of my career, I was the gambling treatment person here at the SHARE program. Gambling itself is not bad. It's when it gets out of control and it causes difficulty in people's lives that they step over the line of what I call addiction.
She kind of transitioned. So basically, she was a very heavy alcoholic first. I mean, there were times where, she would say like, oh, I'm going out and I'll be back in a couple of hours. And I mean, being us teenagers, we're like, oh, okay, bye mom, we don't care. We get the house to ourselves. What do we care?
Family members aren't aware until it all comes out. And then it's like this huge shock.
When it started kind of becoming a reoccurring thing, like, it would be like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, she still wasn't coming home, and then you would call her and you could hear the gambling in the back, you could hear the slot machines and stuff in the background, and that's when you kind of started figuring out, like, oh, okay, and then she would just, at one point, she would just start openly, I'm going to the boat, I'm going to the boat, I'm going to the boat.
I've worked with people that have given up their disability checks. People always think, well, I'm going to win big and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. When you begin using every single cent that you have, then it becomes a problem.
We really didn't know how bad it really got until she called one day asking me for money. And I said, what do you need money for? You make a pretty good buck at your job. And that's when everything kind of spelled out that she had gambled away her savings, she had gambled away his savings. She lost everything. The house went into foreclosure.
When people are gamblers, they hide it very well. They are master manipulators and liars.
She was very good at portraying this perfect image. I have a great job, I have 2 kids, I have a nice house.
She was looking at her entire life falling apart.
She realized she needed to do something at that point, because it was either she was going to go to jail, and all of a second, just like that, it would have come crashing down.
It's just for a figure, it is the highest rate of suicide among all the addictions, because by the time they get to the phase where they cannot hold it together anymore, their choice is suicide.
Gambling just kind of like gets overlooked because people, it's more accepted, I think, in society. Like, it's more accepted. Otherwise, you wouldn't have casinos. Otherwise, you wouldn't have, Las Vegas.
Why is it important that organizations like this are supported, or given the financial support that they need?
Because gamblers have no money. They literally, by the time they decide they're going to come in, they have nothing.
Once she made that decision to clean up, she did it right, and she did everything. She did everything right. As the transition kind of took place, she started opening up a little bit more and opening up a little bit more. I think once she was finally able to overcome that, I think that's when everything kind of spilled out, and I think that's when she really started to show true progress in her recovery.
When they finally are able to tell somebody, the relief for them is unbelievable, because it's very much a secret. One of the things we work on constantly was on honesty.
Well, the biggest thing that I really noticed with her was that she kept coming back. She kept, I want to go, I have to go to this meeting, I have to go, I have to make my meeting, I have to make my meeting. And she found a very good support system through SHARE, and we're very fortunate that she was able to find somebody, her counselor here who, went above and beyond for her. She was actually enjoying life for the first time in probably 15 years. That was what we grew up with as kids. We finally have our mom back.
But when I run in and they'd say, I'm still clean, I'm still not gambling, and my life has changed, that made it all worthwhile.
She actually became a sponsor herself to somebody else, which is to me remarkable, and the amount of short time that it took for her to transition herself to be where she was, foreclosure, no savings, nothing, to turning around and then sponsoring somebody else. This success story is a very remarkable one for her. You almost can't help but wonder sometimes where would she be now if she were still with us? What would she be doing? How many more people could she have helped? How many people could she have shared her story with? And how many more people could she have provided that safe haven for that Share was able to provide for her?